Have you ever wondered why that particular person entered your life when everything seemed so quietly stable? The angels say, none of this was by chance. This connection was written long before you were born. There's an invisible thread, almost ethereal, that crosses time and space, and it has been pulled. Something within you triggered a response from heaven, as if an ancient promise had been silently activated. And then they appeared. You weren't looking for them. Maybe you were even trying to forget that you still believed in it, in something rare, in someone who could see you beyond words. But God remembered, and sent this person as a sacred mirror. This connection didn't come to fill a void. It came to ignite a purpose. Because, even though they might not realize it yet, their presence is a seed planted in the fertile ground of your soul. Something was awakened within them. Something that had been asleep, perhaps forgotten or stifled. The angels show that there's a greater calling behind this encounter. You carry a key. They carry a door that hasn't opened for a long time. What you activate in each other is not just attraction, it's a mission. A mission of healing. A mission of awakening. You didn't come here to carry burdens, but to remember. The angels say, this memory now pulses in the energy field between you. Even if they struggle, run away, or deny it, there is something in them that recognizes you. Not your name, not your appearance, but your light. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11, He has made everything beautiful in its time, also He has put eternity in their heart. This eternity pulses between you now, and it will begin to reveal itself, drop by drop, like rain whispering to the soil. The time has come. Are you ready to remember? Sometimes, what seems like coldness is just hidden pain. The angels whisper, He's not avoiding you because He doesn't care. He's hiding because He still doesn't know how to handle the depth of what He feels. His soul carries scars you haven't seen yet, but you felt them. And you felt them because your heart is too sensitive to ignore the silences, the distance, the unexplained confusion. Behind every evasive answer, there's a memory that burns. A fear of loving and being abandoned. Of giving himself entirely and not being enough. Of repeating stories that have hurt too much. You're not imagining things. There is, indeed, a resistance. But it's not against you, it's against what you represent, a new beginning. The angels reveal that He has loved and lost. He has believed and fallen. He has given Himself completely and reaped emptiness. And now, faced with the possibility of something real, everything inside him screams, can I handle this again? And maybe that's why He leaves soon after getting close. Maybe that's why He looks into your eyes as if asking for help, and in the next moment, closes Himself off like an abandoned house. His movement isn't rational. It's instinctive. It's emotional survival. But even so, He returns. He returns because the light you carry touches something He's tried to extinguish. He returns because your silence is more welcoming than any noise from His world. You're not here to forcibly heal Him, the angels say. But your presence awakens in Him the desire to be whole. And that is the beginning of all healing. The Bible says in Psalm 34 verse 18, The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That crushed spirit dwells within him, but it's also beginning to recognize that maybe, just maybe, God placed him before you to learn to trust again. And this trust, even if still fragile, starts with your non-judgmental gaze, with your understanding soul. He doesn't need to be ready now. He just needs to feel that he's not alone in this journey. You don't need to shrink yourself to fit in his world. The angels remind you, your light was not made to be contained. It was made to be seen. It's tempting when we love, to shape ourselves to the available space, to squeeze our souls into small corners, to stifle our desires to keep the peace, to silence our truths to avoid distance. But true love does not require sacrificing your essence. It blossoms when there is space to be. You, with all your intensity, with all your layers, are a rare gift. And your self-care is not selfish. It's a prayer. It's a divine affirmation that your existence has value, even if he still cannot see everything that you are. The angels show that behind your giving lies a story of silent burdens. How many times have you been the one who held on, who waited, who understood even when you needed to be understood? How many times did you abandon yourself to keep someone close? Now the heavens whisper to you, it's time to return to yourself. Taking care of your body, respecting your emotions, honoring your limits. All of this is part of the spiritual mission you carry. When you choose yourself, you're not distancing yourself from him. You're gently and firmly teaching that love is not about losing yourself in another, but about walking side by side. It's in this movement of nourishing and reconstructing yourself that your soul begins to vibrate more strongly. And without realizing it, this touches him as well. Because the love that heals comes from wholeness, not from neediness. You are not responsible for saving him, say the angels. But you are responsible for not abandoning yourself in the process. The Bible says in Proverbs 4 verse 23, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Protect yourself. Honor yourself. And know, the woman who chooses herself loses no one. She simply attracts those who have the maturity to stay. And perhaps upon seeing you so whole, he will understand that loving someone like that is not dangerous. It's liberating. You unsettle him. And it's not because of anything you do, but because of who you are. The angels say, you reflect what he has tried to hide even from himself. There's something about you, maybe it's your courage, maybe your clarity, maybe the way you feel without apology, that completely disarms him. He sees himself in your eyes, and what he sees isn't always comfortable. Because loving you isn't an escape. It's a call to face oneself. You unknowingly have flung open doors he locked years ago. You've awakened questions he wasn't ready to answer. He wanted control, he wanted predictability. But you came like a bare mirror, showing beauty and wounds. The angels reveal that he admires you. But this enchantment comes mixed with fear. Because being with you demands presence. It demands truth. It requires shedding the masks that until now have protected him from the world and from himself. That's why sometimes he seems to want to be close, but then he shuts down right after. It's as if something pushes him back inside, like someone fleeing from their own reflection in the water. It's not about you. It's about everything you awaken. And yet, he returns. Because, despite the pain, there's something in you that also heals. Something that says, even in silence, it's okay not to be ready. But it's time to look. You're the mirror that doesn't accuse. You're the reflection that embraces. And that is your strength. You didn't come here to be a harbor disguised as a storm, the angels say. You came to be the lighthouse that shows the way even when the other is still lost. And that path begins with him recognizing who he is, in front of you. Because he realizes, even without understanding, that loving you means loving himself more. And that scares him. But real love always puts us face to face with the truth. And that truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is liberating. There's a slight tremor in the field around him. Do you feel it? It's subtle, almost imperceptible, but the angels show, something inside him is opening up, like a flower that withstands the cold of dawn and even so, insists on blooming. It's not fast, nor flashy, but it's real. He started to notice that nostalgia has a different color when it's his. That your absence weighs differently. That the silence between you isn't empty. It's unspoken presence. The angels whisper, he's beginning to see you with the eyes of the soul. At first, it was just enchantment. Now it's revelation. Your existence is becoming a point of light on his emotional map. A light that guides him, even though he doesn't yet know the destination. And this confuses him, because he never expected anyone to touch him without intruding. To love him without demanding. To see him completely, even when he himself falls apart. Your presence, which seems gentle but is firm, is rewriting old memories within him. He starts to realize that love doesn't need to hurt to be profound, that it doesn't have to be a battle to be real. And even if he doesn't say anything, he starts to look for you in the details. In the breeze that passes. In the music that plays. In the words he speaks without thinking. He finds himself surprised by missing what he never had fully. This is the awakening. Not the kind from fairy tales, but that of a soul slowly remembering who it is when it's next to someone who makes it bloom. You don't need to do more than you've already done, the angels say. The seed has been planted, and it's already germinating. The Bible says in Isaiah 60 verse 1, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you." This light that is being born now, is being born in you both. And even though he doesn't know how to name what he feels, the feeling exists. It grows. It transforms. Because there are encounters that don't require logic. They require the courage to stay when everything inside us calls for escape. And he is starting to stay. There is a pattern. You feel it. A back and forth that confuses you, making you question if it's all in your head, or if what you share is real. And the angels say, yes, it's real. But it's also a wound. He comes close, opens up gaps, touches your soul with a tenderness that feels promising, and then pulls back. He closes doors, goes silent, and leaves you standing on the bridge that he himself started to build. But this bridge is not a flaw. It's a process. His soul carries an ancestral resistance to love. As if loving means losing oneself. As if surrendering exposes one to abandonment. And each step in his direction triggers old internal alarms. Be cautious. It might hurt. The angels reveal that this cyclical movement is a defense mechanism, not a lack of interest. He tries to protect what's left after the falls. And even though something in you calms him, another part of him screams for survival. You can't fix this, but you can understand. You can choose not to hurt yourself on the thorns that aren't yours. You can decide to stay true to yourself, even when he pulls away again. And it's at this point that healing begins. Because by not chasing after him, by not begging for attention, by simply staying grounded in your center, you break the cycle. You teach without saying a word, that love doesn't have to be a chase. That presence shouldn't be a negotiation. He runs from pain, but his energy calls him back, the angels say. And one day, he will understand that you are not a threat. You are a refuge. The Bible says in Psalm 37 verse 7, "Rest in the Lord, and wait patiently for him." This waiting is not passivity. It's wisdom. It's letting his timing not drag you along. It's trusting that, if the feeling is true, and it is, there will be a return. Because what comes from God may take twists and turns, but it never gets lost. And he, even in his ups and downs, is being guided. Even if he doesn't realize it, he has already begun to come back. Love that heals doesn't shout. It whispers. He makes a silent presence during the heaviest hours. He doesn't invade, doesn't push. He simply remains, just like you remained. The angels reveal that your energy has been an invisible balm for him. Something that sustains him in moments when everything inside him wants to crumble. He may never say it, perhaps he doesn't even understand it, but he feels it. Your way of loving, without demanding anything in return, without imposing urgency, is creating spaces within him that were once too dark to receive light. Spaces that no one reached. That he himself had forgotten. You touch him without touching, the angels whisper. You heal him without making promises. It's in this calm love that the heavens work miracles. Because while he struggles against his own ghosts, while he tries to understand why wanting you feels so dangerous, you simply are. And it's this being that heals. You did not try to change who he is. You did not try to bend reality. You simply offered shelter. And slowly, he began to rest in this place. Because he realized that, with you, he didn't have to be strong all the time. He didn't have to hide his pain, wear masks, maintain defenses. With you, he began to breathe. And in that simple act, the act of breathing together, a new possibility was born, the chance to rebuild himself without fear. The angels reveal that this love is not ordinary. It was sent. It has purpose. Because you, with your intuition, recognized in him something that his own heart refused to admit, the need to be loved gently. The Bible says in Jeremiah 30 verse 17, "For I will restore your health and heal your wounds," declares the Lord. This process has already begun. And even if you don't see with your eyes, feel with your soul, something inside him is lighter because of you. Because love, when divinely inspired, does not demand understanding. It simply acts. And in you, this love found a channel. You are not alone. Even when everything seems uncertain, even when the heart grows tired of waiting for clearer signs, the angels continue to guide you. And now they say, you don't need to understand the plan. Just trust the journey. There's a divine script being written behind the scenes of your life. And this connection is part of it. Not because it's easy, but because it's sacred. You might feel like you're going in circles, that time passes and nothing changes. But there are movements happening on levels that the eye can't see. The angels are realigning what seemed lost, healing what seemed broken, preparing encounters that don't come together overnight. This wait, no matter how painful it feels, is shaping your strength. It's honing your intuition. It's teaching your soul to trust, not in others, but in itself. You haven't been forgotten. You've been hidden, guarded, protected for something greater. Say the angels. He is also being guided. Even when he pulls away, even when he pretends not to feel, there's a force within him that pushes him towards what is true. And what is true is you. There's no need to force it. There's no need to prove anything. The Bible says in Proverbs 16 verse 9, "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." Heaven is taking care of every step. And every step back, every silence, every apparent misconnection, is being used in favor of the reunion. You feel it. Deep down. A certainty that can't be explained. A peace that insists on being born even amid doubt. This is faith. This is divine presence. Keep walking. Not because everything is clear, but because everything is being guided. And what is yours, by destiny, by soul, by spiritual covenant, already knows the way back. Even if it needs to get lost once more to find it. There is a part of him that no one knows. Not even the closest ones, nor those who share their routine. Maybe not even he himself. But you touched that part. Unknowingly, without asking, without forcing. You touched where it hurt. Where it bled in silence. The angels say, he wants to love. But he doesn't know how. The love he feels for you is not small. It is vast, deep, and for that very reason frightening. Because to love you, he would have to strip bare. Show his soul as it is. And he learned, far too early, that vulnerability is dangerous. There are hidden memories behind his eyes. Old rejections, absences that left holes. He carries within his chest a confusion of feelings, the desire to give himself fully and the panic of losing himself. And in the midst of all this, you, who looks at him like no one has ever looked, who sees beyond the wrong actions, the sudden withdrawals, the flimsy excuses, you, who loves without demanding, who stays even when everything screams to give up. This love disarms him. And that's why he runs away. He contradicts himself. He shuts down. Because to accept you, he would also have to accept his own fragility. He would have to confess, even in silence, that he needs to be embraced. That he needs comfort. That he needs, yes, to be loved like he never has been before. The angels show that he is on the brink of this confession. Not with words, but with subtle gestures. With lingering glances. With how he returns, even after each distance. Because deep down he knows, only with you can he be whole. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." That weakness he tries to hide is where God begins to act, and where you begin to heal. Heaven doesn't want you to save him. It only wants you to understand. Loving someone broken is allowing them to rebuild at their own pace. And he, even without admitting it, is starting to want this with you. There comes a moment when the heart gets tired of waiting for explanations. When the soul understands that what is true doesn't need to be chased, it just needs to be recognized. The angels say, "You don't need to fight anymore. Just trust. You did everything you could. You loved with presence. You believed even without guarantees. You stood firm even when everything seemed to fall apart. And now it's time to let go. Not because you gave up, but because you learned to trust that what is yours knows how to find its way back. Even if it takes time. Even if it comes back in a way different from what you dreamed. He feels it. More than ever. He carries you in the spaces where there was once only fear. He's beginning to understand that love is not a prison but freedom. That loving someone like you is not a risk, it's salvation. But the most important step is not his. It's yours. You don't need to wait any longer for what cannot yet be, nor beg for what was meant to be given in abundance. Your worth is not in anyone's hands. The angels show that by accepting, you make room. Room for the new, for return, for divine manifestation that only arrives when there is surrender. You loved him enough to set him free. Now, love yourself enough to set yourself free. The Bible says in Romans 8 verse 28, "We know that all things work together for the good of those who love God." Even the silence, even the distance, even the wait. Because in the end, everything serves a purpose. Everything teaches. Everything guides. If it's meant to be him, let him come. With truth, with presence, with soul. If it's not, may you continue to be light. Because the love you give, and who you are already miracles in human form. And heaven honors that. Keep that light with you. Or give it to those who still walk in the dark.